Hey guys, my name is Jade. Welcome back to my channel. Today I wanted to just chit chat a little bit. It's not going to be too long of a video, but I wanted to introduce a topic that is really dear to my heart and important to me in my journey that I'm on currently. The title is Starting Over and Growing with God in Your 20s. I am currently 26 years old, almost at 27. Currently 26 years old, and let me just tell you a little bit of background just so we can get on the same page. So my mom is Jamaican, my dad is Nigerian. I believe both of those to be very like faith-based descents, like very religious in a way, you know, if you understand what I'm saying. So like me personally, I always grew up in the church. I was born in Georgia, but we lived in Florida. No matter where we were a part of a mega church in Georgia. We came down to Florida when I was 4 years old, and we were a part of a very family-oriented Jamaican church. Like my mom knew people there that she knew back in Jamaica. She ended up being a deacon. My dad also went to Bible school. He ended up being a deacon. I was in the choir, my sister was in the choir. We would be there every Saturday morning for practices, every Tuesday night for Bible study. We'd be there for Sunday school, and then we'd sing at the 7 a.m. service, and then we'd also sing at the 11 a.m. service. 2 services, 4 hours apart. It was that type of church. Like we would be, Sunday at church was an entire day event. And that was my life for the majority of my life, you know? And then when I was 15 years old, 22 days before I turned 16, my mom passed away. And after that, I feel like everybody has that one person that's the glue of their family, that keeps everything together, that, you know, just guides us in the right direction. And my dad, trust me, my dad did his very best. He is an amazing father, leader, husband. But when my mom and my dad got married, they made the decision that my mom was going to care for the children. Very like, it was like a very traditional situation. Like my dad was the provider, my mom took care of the kids, you know? So she was the one that raised us in our religion. My dad was literally always supporting, always right there, always in church with us, doing everything that he had to do. But my mom was the one that guided us, you know? So after she passed away, I feel like it's kind of been just something that's dwindled off in my adult life. I think one thing that really affected that, and this is just like us opening up with each other or whatever, is we had her funeral at the church that we go to every Sunday. Ever since then, I have never been back to that church. I will never go back to that church. Sometimes I'll drive by on like a Wednesday when it's completely empty, and I just know that I will never step foot in that church ever again. I just feel like maybe we didn't think that through all the way, but it's okay. It's whatever. I'm 27 now. No, I'm not. I'm 26 now. So at this point, I feel like it's time to take my life into my hands and go back to prioritizing what's important to me. And what is important to me is my faith and my relationship with God. Not always about going to church. It's just being with a congregation, being with a community, and being a part of something that's bigger than yourself, but that's something that you relate to. That's how I see it in my eyes. Before, I thought it was like me being forced into this and this. I don't have to agree with everything. And it's true, like sometimes you hear things, you may not agree with it, but you have to understand it and know that if it's God's word, you have to not change your beliefs, but try to align with it in the best that you can, because God only wants the best for us. But that's also why I prioritize relationship over religion. This is just the beginning of this story, the beginning of my new walk with the Lord and with Jesus. Homeboy, you know, vibes. My fiance, he's never been one to go to church, but he's always been somebody who's been interested. His family just isn't to it, to say the least. Like his grandparents are the ones that he grew up with, and they are very religious, very traditional, Pentecostal Christians. And he really enjoys the idea of following in his grandfather's footsteps. He's an amazing man. Unfortunately, he did pass away, and I wish I got to meet him, but I feel like I've met him through my fiance, just because of there's so many aspects that people compare them to, and I think it's so humble and beautiful. You're currently engaged, right? And I feel like this is the perfect time to start this religious journey, because I want to be steadfast. I want to be planted in my faith before I take any steps to get married, have children. I want God to be in the foundation of our relationship. And it's never too late to start implementing that, because we've both had the same morals this entire time. But it's time for us to start walking in that journey together. And I'm just really excited to start sharing this journey with everybody. I think step number one is usually like finding a church. As I said before, like church that I was at, amazing. I love the fact that all of the kids that grew up there, they're all still very close friends. Like, it's a very beautiful sight to watch, but from the outside looking in, I just don't know how well I can fit back into who I was. And a lot of the time when I think of that exact statement, just the idea of it, thinking about who I was and fitting back into the character that I was, I think of the story of Lot's wife. And I'm not very fluent, but I do know the story. I know the gist of it, that when Jesus was destroying Sodom and Gomorrah, he sent Lot and his wife and his family out, and he said, keep looking forward. If you look back, you'll turn into a pillar of salt. And what I take from that story is just that you have to keep looking forward. You can't compare yourself to the past. You have to leave the past in the past in order to grow and be great. And that's all I want to do, is continue to grow and continue to be great. I am grateful, so grateful for my past and everything that has brought me to be who I am today. But I'm also very much ready to start walking in my own faith and being my own person. Jumping all over the place, but this goes back to choosing a church. We live in Miami, and if you're from Miami at all, if you know Miami at all, you must have heard of VOUS Church. It is a very youthful vibe. I don't even know how to describe it. The thing for us is we work I don't know. There's no judgment here, so I don't really care. Anyway, we work nightlife. I work at the front desk, and my fiance is a manager in the back. The hours that we sleep, we work Saturday. We don't get off until 5 a.m. We don't get home until like 5 a.m.-ish. And waking up for church at 9 a.m. just isn't realistic. We've tried it for so many different services. So we've been looking for a church that has an afternoon service. We've been going to VOUS Church in South Miami, and I'm honestly very, very, very keen. Like, I like it. I don't know if it's just the fact that I'm like stepping back into religion, and it just feels comforting and it feels like home to be able to like raise my hands, close my eyes, and just like be with the Lord and be in a congregation of people, young people that just love Jesus just as much as I do. I've been loving it. Every church usually has like that like first timers connection tent or whatever, and you don't have to go the first time. We've been twice already and we still haven't been to the tent. But my favorite thing about that church is no matter what you do, all they ask is that you keep showing up. You keep showing up. And it's not just, I don't know, because everything that they do is through God, of course, but they also serve the community. There's so many different ways to get involved. They had like a VOUS women's conference at the Fillmore Center, which I think is just like, it's amazing, because I used to go to the Fillmore Center for concerts, you know, and now to go there for something Christ related, I think is a beautiful switch. Unfortunately, I couldn't make it because work and everything like that. The timing's just like would have killed me. But I just love the fact that I always wanted to have a community. I've always wanted to build a community. I've always wanted to be a part of something bigger than myself, and I feel like this is a way for me to do that. So from here on out, on both my TikTok and my Instagram, and hopefully on this channel as well, I want to do like Sunday lessons, upkeep with the Growing with God series. I am, again, 26 years old, about to get married, about to start having children, and I want to be steadfast in my faith. I want to walk with God. I want to know God as my Father, my best friend, and it's just time for that. And I think it's usually very hard to get into, and it's humbling to get into. You're starting over, but why not just do that together? So let's see where this journey takes me, takes us. If you guys have any words of encouragement, any advice for this journey, for anything of the sort, please comment down below. I love to talk to people that are on the same journey as me on those first beginning steps, or even if you're like way further in the advance in the future, like I would love to hear from you too, because I can learn from that, and I really appreciate that. So thank you guys for watching. I will see you guys next week or next video.